Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining. This is the Fort Worth Splunk user group. We have a special topic today. Everybody's very curious about it. So Splunk Dashboard Studio. Before I start, there are a few housekeeping items I'd like to say. If possible, please be on mute unless you're talking. And you can post your questions on the chat or you can ask us. Also, we'll be recording the session and post it on YouTube later, that you will get the link afterwards. Okay, so next. I'm Suman Gajwali, CTO of bitsIO. bitsIO is Splunk partner of the year 2020. I've been Splunking since 2013. I'm a Conf 2020 speaker. Hopefully I'll speak at 2021, I'm not sure. But so I've been helping a lot of customers. Personally, I've helped, and also through my company. And we help a lot of companies with the nonprofit customers as well with the pro bono PS. Chris, if you want to intro.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Good afternoon, guys. A pleasure to be here with you. I'm Christian Brown. I'm Costa Rican. I met Splunk like 3 years ago. I was before part of the support team. Now I'm part of the bitsIO team doing consulting. I'm more than glad to be with them. I learned a lot. So here I am explaining you this. So it's been a really great journey.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. I will go through the agenda next. So what's Splunk's Dashboard Studio, the new studio, and then differences between grid versus absolute. I think well, I'll have less slides and more demo, if that's okay with everyone. I guess everybody will agree with that. It will be boring to see the static images. The other reason is I didn't do a good job on putting together screenshots. So, but so quickly, what's new in the Dashboard Studio is you can move the icons, you can place wherever you want it, you can put images on the dashboards, you can change the background colors, and so it is very robust, and it gives you both options. So one thing I would say is there are two options. So you can do grid or absolute. Grid is totally similar to what it was before, how it used to have the rows and column structure, and the grid version still gives you that option. But with the absolute, you need to code, you need to do a lot of coding, which Chris will be showing you doing the demo. How do you add a submit button? And for submit, you have to go add a code. And earlier, you can just press the button there, and then it will add the submit button for you. So there are a lot of things, but it comes at a cost of looking good. The dashboards can be customized so much that you may end up learning a little bit of coding for that, right? So there are some differences. This is from the Splunk Docs, absolute versus grid. I think absolute is the one that you would like if you want the dashboards to be looking cool, and then grid is the similar, the previous version, you could say classic version of it. But charts, all charts are available. Background color, you can change the background color in the absolute, but changing the background color is not supported in the grid layout. So any questions? Okay. Canvas size, you can choose a different size for your dashboards, and a number of visualizations. There is no limit to the number of visualization that can be added to the canvas. I think In the classic one, you can add like, I think 2, 3, 4. It depends on the width of your dashboard. So I think that there are some restrictions there. Shapes, the new one supports it. Icons and images. Images are not supported. You can upload up to 16 MB of the image size. Oops.
So this is pretty much some screenshots of an old classic XML, all boring classic XML. And now we converted this into an absolute Splunk Dashboard Studio. As you see right there, definitely is totally different. You can start modifying colors, start modifying searches. It's gonna be different. And I'm gonna show you as well. I would like to point out some differences. So let's go to the next slide. These are the main differences I found. The first thing I saw it was the app on Splunk base, right? That's the first difference, that is the same app, right? If you want, you can install it if you're using a version lower than 8.2. However, if you upgrade, it's gonna be included, and that's something great. Besides that, this new Dashboard Studio, it's not XML, it's using JSON formatted components, right? Besides that, it has some limitations, like it doesn't accept third-party visualizations. It doesn't do cluster maps as of now. Drill downs are a little bit limited. Tokens as well. Trellis, it's not an option now. Some layouts like grid and absolute. And in this case, you can use JavaScript or CSS, right? That's because with XML, you just, at the beginning of your XML, you define this and it started working. In this case, as of now, is not possible, okay? Just I wanted to point out that those are the main differences that I could gather. So now we can start with the demo. So let me share my screen. So one of the things that I want to show you, it's a demo from the examples app. The examples app, as you know, it has a lot of dashboards, right? So I'm going to take one of the classic XMLs, and I'm going to convert it to Dashboard Studio. So I'm gonna take chart overlay, and this is being extracted out of from internal, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna convert this to Dashboard Studio. First thing, I go to my search and reporting app, go to dashboards. Here, I create a new dashboard. Let's call it a chart overlay as well. Sure enough. In this case, we select Dashboard Studio. Here, we have the option to choose to select or layout, grid or absolute. In this case, I'm going to select absolute, like it more. So here is our Dashboard Studio. Just as easy as that. So now, what's the first thing I gotta do, right? If I'm taking an example, if I'm converting, I need to know the search, right, that this is executing. So I click on edit. Something really curious about Dashboard Studio is that by default, it comes with the time, as you see here. So you don't need to add it. It's there. There is no need. It's already there. So first of all, I need to grab my search, right? This is the search that Splunk is executing. Grab this. From here, I would like to explain you, right? What are these icons? What's this, right? And so on. So as you see right here, we see this option here to view. This is when we save it, right? And then you would like to edit it. Just we click on edit. This option here is for the types, right? The area, line, bar, column, etc. This option here is for the inputs. As you see, we have less inputs than now, than before. If we go to add input, we have text, radio, drop-down, checkbox, multi-check, etc. Now, we only have 4, drop-down, multi-select, text, and number. These other options for any icons that you would like to add. For example, this triangle, okay, you would like to add it. This other option is if you would like to add like a line, for example, or if you would like to add an ellipse, let's say. You just increase this, whatever you want. Depends on you. This is something really great, right? That you don't have any, for example, if I move this here, I have only like, I only have this space to move it. So it's not like that. You can move it wherever you want. Then we have this option that is an image, right? So this image, you can use an URL, or you can find it, right, from your files, and then you browse it, you select it, and you can paste it there. Here are text. Any text that you would like to write will be added. And here is this year, it's pretty much this option, this configuration that we saw. This is the searches, right, that we are gonna create, that we are gonna add. This case is totally different from the classic XML, because from the classic XML, we only add a panel. We select the panel, and then right there, we paste our search query. And right here, we have for coding, or code, pretty much the JSON formatted code. So now, let's add this, right? So we go, this is a table, right? So we add this table, we select table. We select these lines, you can do it now or after, it doesn't matter. As you see here, it's asking us for our search. So I copy that search, I paste it. This data source name, you can name it whatever you want. So we'll name it search chart overlay. Now I run and save. If you go down below, you will see the code in case you are looking for it. So this is how it's formatted. So we save it. There is this button. You need to be careful because if you exit, you don't save this, it's not gonna be saved. So the save button before it was here, now it's here. And here are all the options that we can modify, right? We can add any title, we can add a description, we can move this, right? Instead of doing this manually, as we did, you can move it from here, the position, the rows that you wanna be displayed, the background color. For example, I'm gonna use orange, for example. This background color. So everything you want can be done. Now, this column formatting, here is just only to select like a field that's being extracted from that search. For example, that one. But in this case, it will not happen because we are using a table. But what happens, for example, let's say we are doing a single value, right? So I will only like to see, let's say the count in this case, or I only want to see the average. So just in case, if you would like to use a single value, you need to select this option. But let me go back to the example. Okay. So I'm taking this and drill downs. Remember that I mentioned to you that drill downs is limited. It changed. Right now with drill down, you can only link to a custom URL. Before, if you go back to XML, you could link to a search, you could link to a dashboard, to a report, or manage tokens. As right now, it's not possible, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be available. So now we have our search, right? I'm sorry, this is not a table. This is a column. So we got it there, right? So as you see, I copied and pasted the search, right? That's the first thing. The issue here, right, it's this option, the overlay, right? Because with XML, I just copy this option, I paste it on the XML source, and there we go, right? I know that this line, it's the chart overlay, right? So in this case, with Dashboard Studio, it's not XML. So we need to find that option. So if we need to find that option, there are some helpful docs, right? So the first helpful doc, it's Splunk Docs, or we go back to dashboards and we go to the example hub. Most of the dashboards that are here are on the hub, just for you to know. So we go there. Go to column. And then as you see right here, there are a lot of examples, but what we are interested on is the chart overlay. So we try to find it here, and let's see if we can find it. All these options, just in case you can modify it here, the colors, etc. So this is something that you cannot do with XML. And here is our chart overlay, right? So the first of all, okay, is that we gotta do is to understand the code, right? So we got this. I know that as per the search query, I know that my average is the line that I need to create, but I need to add that option. So these are the options, okay? So from the visualization, I go to the options. Down below the query, you can make the change here, or you can go here, okay? You can do either of them, but let's go back here to the code. I prefer this one because I know where I am and I don't need to look for the search, let's say. So let me go back to, I'm sorry, this is the visualization. Let's go to the search. From the search, I know that the type that says visualization column, and from my options, I have, okay, now this is the visualization. So let me go back to the visualization. We are here. If you need me, I can make it bigger. From here, it says that down below the options, I need to add these two, okay? Oh, when I type it down, that's just, okay, let's see if it takes, I'll take it into a, I think I got it here, just like this. Okay. Gotta be careful with some syntax errors. In this case, is this comma. So right here, I'm enabling the option of the chart overlay. Then here I need to specify the field name. In this case, it's average. Okay. So just like that, we created a chart overlay. Okay. So this is one of the options, right? So if we would like to add more options like field colors and such, we just copy this, right, and paste it. So here I'm modifying this because that's our field name. So we're assigning that color. The axis is so pretty much just like that. We exit this, we save it, and now we got the same column, the same chart. This is definitely data coming from other source. However, right now, this is the chart that I was expecting, and this is the chart that I have. Okay, but let's say, because it's not this simple, right? Dashboard Studio is not only trying to find the option, right, as we did, but let's try to add an input. All right, let's say I want to drop down, right, that instead of checking, if I go to the search, you can go to the search from here, or you can go to here. So I can modify this search. In this case, I'm checking internal, right? So let's say I don't want to check only internal. I want to drop down of all the indexes, right? So I need to add an input. Title of the input will be indexes. Token, you can name this whatever you want. So let's call it index. And these are labels and values. These are static labels and values that you can define. However, I will like to extract this from a search. I don't want to use this one. So as you see right here, I don't have more options, right? As I did before, because before I just click here, I just add the input. Well, in this case was drop down. I go here, select the field, select the token, the static values, and the search. Right. In this case, I have to create the search. Let me show you how. So in order to create this search, I need a search, right? But here I don't know, there is no option for me to create this search. So I need to go to searches and create it. So in this scenario, I need to test my search, okay? So I need a full list of all the indexes. So I'm gonna do a REST call. That's the easiest one. Here are all my indexes. So I take this search, create a new search. This one I'm gonna call it index dropdown. Paste it there. This is all I need. So, but this is something really interesting because I create this search, but how do I connect this search to the indexes, right? The only way to do this is editing the coding. So I need to take this search back. I need to go back here. And with this type of dashboards, you need to find the search ID, let's say. In this case, in order to find our search ID, we click on code. And here is our data source ID. You can change it, by the way. It's modifiable. However, I'm gonna take this one, right? And I go back to this input, and I need to edit my code. So this is an option, right? But I need to tell this input to that I'm gonna use this search. So in this case, I'm gonna use Splunk Docs. Splunk Dashboard Studio. Okay. I just need to add an input or use data sources. Choose inputs, okay. So right here, this is how you define inputs. Definitely you have to read all this, but long story short, what you need is this, these values, okay? So copy this. This is an input for an example. So, but in order to add an input or define my label and value, I just need to copy this. So I copy this. I go back, paste it here. And as you see right here, let me zoom in. As you see right here, I established the encoding. Well, this option. Remember that on classic XML, we had the option of label and value. It's this one. This means the location of the value and the location of the label. So 0 means the first line. So on the first line, I have my label and I have my value. So I don't need to change it. Right here, I need to define my data source. So right now we know our data source. We know it, we can find it here. So we only copy this. We go back to the input and we paste it here because that's our data source. And then we save it. And that input took my search. That's how you do it. And so now I'm missing something. I need to modify my search, right, of the chart overlay. Right now I'm not using internal, but I'm gonna use a token. So I just have the token. And as easy as that, we just select the index and it will return me the data that I need. Let's refresh this. Let me check this. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is not working. Give me 1 second.
I'm sure it worked yesterday. So
Yeah, no, that's.
so is it double quotes do we need or?
Let's see. Search here. I'm switching this back.
Is the VPN working, or do we see the data?
That's
You do the search.
okay.
Bigger time range.
Yeah, you got a time range. Okay, this is the search. Okay.
Internal, okay.
Let's see if my connection has been. There we go.
Okay, there is data, right? So do we know what search it's running from there?
Yes.
Can we see?
From
Like,
here,
yeah.
here.
Like it's taking the token, and then what is the search it's using behind the scenes? Is there, when you click on the left side, is it going to show what search is it running?
That's true. Actually, if I click on view, I would like to check this search. I just click on the on like that. There you go.
Okay. And then indexes, what is the indexes you pick?
Or maybe
Is it searching like indexes star and the star's not picking up the underscore internal?
that's what I'm thinking. And let me take that body off. Okay, but I modified the search and I'm not using any token anymore. Okay, so I've got an idea. So since I created the search, I can delete this.
Yeah.
I can add another column. I use the same search. Search is not getting deleted. Here is gonna ask me for the search, but I just cancel it and I go to my search list. Okay. So now I'm gonna modify the index. It's okay. I'm gonna select anything here. Save it. Zero.
Okay, it's working.
Yeah. Yeah, not sure what happened. Maybe this star was preferring, but okay. So there is, as you saw here, this star, I didn't put it up here. So by default, it comes with options like default values and so. So if you don't want a default value, you just delete it. Okay. Run the code, and we just save it one more time. We see it. There we go. It's got removed. So here, okay, I see the count on my overlay. Here I have nothing. Okay. So let me see introspection. So this is how it works. This is how you add the input. The input, there are a few things that remember that you need to create this search, right? There is something here, as you see, that is called chain search. That's a synonym of base search on the classic XML. So I can create a chain search based on the chart overlay, for example. And right now I only need a average, let's say. So I just create that search and I can use another visualization to check that out, for example. But yeah, I mean, pretty much as easy as this. If you like to change colors, okay, you can play with it. Let's see, I want to see color now. Okay. Oh, and then Where are the colors now? Okay. One second. So I want this. Do this. Here. There is something else that we can add as on the chart overlay.
You try to change the background. You try to change the chart background color. Or you just trying to do an overlay.
No, the chart color. But that's,
yeah. I think you have to do it in code because that's the only way I could find it. Just do a background colors option right there. Is the next right after they show last update. You can right. Essentially because I didn't see a place in the chart object itself to set a color.
Right. And actually, sometimes that appears, but that definitely depends on your visualization.
The
right?
table, yeah, I was going to say the table objects.
Yeah.
If you have a table, it does have a background color.
Right.
But for these, if you go back, in fact, if you just go to your chart, or excuse me, go back to your dashboard, mm-hmm. it's actually pretty simple. If you just go right there after that show last updated field and your options on the code, and then just put a comma at the end of it, and then just add a new option at the end, at the very last one. So right after show last updated false, or yeah, right there is fine too. Put a double quote and then just say background all lowercase, and then the word color is a capital C. Background. I did the same thing. You said back group. It's background.
Oh, I'm sorry, background.
and then capital C. Yeah, no, it's background color. So background color with a capital C, and then colon, and then double quote, and then hashtag or pound sign, whatever you want to make it. In this case, 0000, or yeah.
I think there has to be 6, right?
Yeah, 6. It's Fox is white, so background color should be, yeah, that should work.
Yeah, but even though the thing that we define on the overlay it got removed because I added a new okay, or actually it's not background. Well, the background color for this one, but actually I'm thinking as well this could be these field colors and series colors. Could be as well. So let me grab that as we saw, and grab that. That between options. Let's see.
That's missing a comma there.
Okay. So right now, so
I think that was what was wrong with that background color parameter as well, because I'm looking at mine and that's how it's specified.
All right, there we go. All right, we got this primary, and we should do it. So now with the colors, and as you see, it's definitely you can select all the colors that you want, but definitely you have to play with the code. So let's take this one.
You have to make sure where you're adding which comma.
Yeah, I think you might have missed a closing curly bracket on that copy.
Really, did I?
Yeah, it's after series, at the end of series color. You've got a closing curly bracket and a comma that's missing. You go to the end of that string, yeah, that end of that line right above with a big long string. Yeah, so that should have fixed it.
Okay, let me copy that again. Okay, this one you mean. Okay, I'm gonna copy all this. Just like so you can see it better. one, got it. Okay. Here.
So you're trying to show the colors, how you can change the bar colors, right?
Right, but it seems like it's not taking out.
Oh, I think that's fine. I think at least we know which code to see. Let's move on. I think don't get stuck on that one. But I think we do have the overlay showed that which was important, right? And I think, so if you go back to the examples hub, I think one thing we want to show everyone, you are in the examples hub, right? The one that you were copying the code from. Yeah, so I think this is something to highlight to everyone. So they can, go to this examples hub and pick up a lot of code from here, right? You don't have to code it from scratch, but take the code from here if you want a chart overlay, or if you go all the way top, yeah. I think you can pick different types of visualizations, right? I think you picked a column, but a lot of things that are available, you can just go to the examples home and then pick whichever you want. So you can do the complete dashboards, I think, and or pick from here whichever you want. I think it'll give you the code that you need, and then you just have to change the field name, like how Chris changed the fields, a field name from get null to average, and then go from there. Did you have anything else in there to show, Chris, today?
Yeah, there is another dashboard that I created on the one from the screenshot that I took. This is one that I used pretty much. This is for the usage of the app. So this is, for example, if I would like to check, this is a full list of my apps. I would like to check how many times I've used Splunk Dashboard Studio. So for the last 24 hours, I've used it 8 times by the user. And then the last time it was used, right? And I can have here my time chart. So this is something actually I made this based on the same thing, based on the input, right? I changed the code, and then I definitely had to use this, right? It's not as simple as it was before. You have to go to the code. You have to select this, right? I'm sorry, you have to add this. You have to select your label and your value. You have to define it properly. And then you need to define your search. If you're gonna do this, remember to always define your search, right? If you're using an input with a search. In this case, I used it differently. As you see here, my label, it was in the column 0, and my value was in the column 1. So this is a good example to understand the meaning of the label and the value. Because if I go to the search, this one is the this one was, I'm taking this one. So for example, this one, if I grab the search, place it here. So as you see right here, my label is this one. So my title is this one, because this is what I want to see here. And this is what I'm seeing. But the actual value is this, because this is what I do to search, right? I cannot search with the label. I need to search with my value, with my actual value. This is the name of the folder or the name of the app on the back end. So definitely, this is a good example to understand the meaning of this primary 0 and primary 1, right? That's the position. And this is my search. But yeah, I mean, you can right here. What's different from the column is like this one definitely is an area. I had to change my colors here. So those are different options. Those are different more search that you have to do. But everything and definitely everything is here on the examples hub. Or if you would like to investigate more, you can go to Splunk Docs. Something that it's not as part of the Dashboard Studio that it's really interesting because it changed is the submit button. I'm not sure if you saw that before you only added the submit button and that was it, right? Simple as that. But right now, you need to define it manually. So for example, I have defined it here. This is my submit button. So it's something that if I would like to activate, I click on true. I define it as true. And here is my button. However, it depends on how you configure it, because actually that submit button, I find it here, right, as part of my inputs. So if you would like to know how to add the submit button, right, you just add this. So there's some, it's totally different from what we expected. It involves more to dig more and with the code, right, with the JSON format. So it's something that definitely, it has a lot of things, right? Like you can modify anything. If you would like this to be smaller, you can do it and you can place it here if you want, right? You just save it and view it. And it will search, right, without any issues. However, that's something that we didn't have before, right? It's a lot, definitely, that you have to test, but it's definitely nicer than the classic one. So I know that this is a quick demo, right? It's really simple, like this chart overlay. I really want to show you how to search for the code, how to take these options, right, and define them, how to define the field, etc. So from there, as you know, the colors you need to define it here. Pretty much your whole structure of how to create a dashboard has to change. Because for example, we now have this option to create searches and to change searches. So it's definitely better, for my opinion. I love it more. You can interact with it definitely better. You can see a dashboard better. So it's pretty much.
For sure. There is a lot of coding. I think it is a little bit overwhelming when you look at the code and play with the code, right? But it gives you that flexibility of placing your icons or panel wherever you want it. It wasn't available earlier, right? So it's pretty cool when you look at the visualizations. You can put the images and all that, right? So did you have any other things? Or I think this was it, right? I think we covered a good amount, and maybe in the future, Chris, I think we can go do a part 2 with a lot of different visualizations, and maybe grab a different image on the background and showcase those, right? I think a lot of the functionality can be showcased in the part 2 coming user group session.
Right, exactly. Or we can take one of these complete searches. I'm sorry, one of these complete dashboards. For example, I've seen this, this one. So we can take this one, but it's definitely, I mean, I know that it's a lot. And that is, for example, this one, I mean, check this out. I mean, definitely, it needs time to be created. Here's the full source, but definitely something really interesting that you can
we can try in the future. Yeah.
So yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Chris. And this was great. I think you put in a lot of time in learning it. I know you were clicking here and there and getting the code. It was awesome that what you were doing. So pretty cool. And maybe we can open it up for questions if anybody has questions real quick. But eventually we'll just upload this video onto YouTube, and you should all receive the link for it. What do you think, Aline?
No, it looks really good. I mean, it looks like there's a bit of a steep learning curve, I think, just looking at that. Some of it is very exciting, but obviously you have to put the work in to make it happen. And I'm really pleased to see that during the demo, it's not quite as simple as one might think. So it was really nice that actually you managed to work stuff out. So we got from that. So I was quite pleased with that. So how long, Chris, have you spent roughly, would you say, learning the Dashboard Studio?
It was not that easy. I was used to using the classic XML. Just click here, click there, paste the search, and that was it. It took me time. The first thing that took me time, it was to understand the search, right? How I could use a search and put that into the input. That took me like hours to understand it because I couldn't find it. Gotta be honest with you, I couldn't find it until I got it, until I could know that I had to add that encoding, and then the label, and then the value, and then the primary. But yeah, it took me hours. I gotta be honest.
No, that saves us time. The fact you put the time in. So thank you so much.
Hi,
thank you. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah. If you don't have any other questions, let me see if there are anything in chat. No, nothing in the chat. So you did great job, Chris. Nobody has questions. I think everybody is an expert now with the new Dashboard Studio. So as I mentioned, I'll upload this video onto YouTube, and you should all receive it. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll do a next one, part 2 of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you. Fantastic.